Hey everyone, I'm going to show you how to use Greg Stoll's win expectancy finder to calculate a player's win expectancy, leverage index, and win probability added. We're going to use it on the Wiffle Ball game that we played, so we're actually going to use it on ourselves. I did some of this in class, but in case you weren't able to follow, or just as a review, here's how you do it. We're going to start off by taking a look at the away team. Now, this right here is the away team, right? Maggie was up first. So what we're going to do here on Greg Stoll's website, right, we're going to make sure that we're in the top of the first, right, V for visiting, top of the first, 1 for 1 inning. Make sure that the scores are tied, there are no outs, and there's no one on base, okay? So if we scroll down, we see right away that the win percentage is 54.09%. Let's just round to the nearest percent, right? So you might think, oh, okay, we put 0.54 in there. No, we don't, because note that it says home 54.09. So the win percentage when Maggie walks up to the plate is actually going to be 100 minus 54%. Okay, and that gives a total of 46%. Let me see if I can. Sorry, let me see real quick if I can adjust the thickness right there. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay. So you see that it's not actually 54% because the home's win expectancy is 54%. If the home's win expectancy is 54%, then the visitor's win expectancy, or win percentage in this case, is actually going to be 0.46. Okay. Try to make that a little darker, make it pop a bit more, right? Okay, so that's how we get that. Leverage index is immediate, right? That's the thing in gray right there. 0.87. That's, you know what? That's a little on the make that pop a little bit more, right? 0.86, right? We know that that's barely medium leverage index, but it is. Okay. Now for win probability added, we don't actually know that yet, right? Because win expectancy and leverage index, we know as soon as the batter comes up to bat. Win probability added, we need to wait until their outcome. Now, their outcome is F9, right? That means they flied out to right field. The only thing that matters is that they made an out. So the way that we figure out their win probability added is we go up here, and, well, what happened? We made an out. So we press the out button, right? Now there's one out. Score remains high. Everything else remains the same. No one's on base. Score didn't change. Everything. It looks like now the home team's win percentage went up to 57%, which if you do a little math, 100 minus 57 is 43% or 0.43. So the win probability added is going to be 0.43 minus 0.46, which equals negative 0.03. Okay, so Maggie's win probability added was negative 0.03. Okay. It's always the win expectancy after minus the win expectancy before. Okay. So now for Daniel, Daniel's up at bat. We can immediately see what his leverage index is, right? The leverage index for his situation, right? It's 0.63. It's a little bit lower, right? A little bit less is at stake. There are more outs, less chance to score, etc. To find Daniel's win probability added, well, we have to see, oh, okay, he made an out. He struck out, right? K means strikeout. So we add an out, and we say, oh, okay, now the home team's win expectancy is 58%. So 100 minus 58 is 0.42, right? Again, 100 minus 58 equals 42%. See how we got that? All right, so then his win probability added is going to be 0.42 minus 0.43, which equals negative 0.01. Okay? So his win probability added, again, negative because he made an out, but not quite as much as before, right? Because there was, less at stake. Next up, Landon, right? Landon hit a triple. So before we even get to his triple, actually, we can just say, okay, look, right now, pretty low leverage situation, that 0.36, again, that shows us right here. Landon hit a triple. So what we can do is we can just say, oh, I touched third base. Look, now there's a guy on third. Well, all of a sudden, whoa, hold on a second. The home team's win percentage went up to 50, or went down to 54%. So a little bit of math here. 100 minus 54 equals 46. So the win expectancy after Landon bats is 0.46. So what's Landon's win probability added? Well, it's going to be 0.46 minus 0.42. So this is actually going to be positive 0.04. Okay? So now Peter comes up to bat. And now all of a sudden, Peter's leverage index is medium. Well, they claim it's high. We would say it's medium, right? Because it's between 0.85 and 1.99. But they seem to think it's high. It's certainly higher than it was before, right? If he gets a single or a hit, basically, of any kind, he's going to score Landon. If he makes an out, then the inning is over. Okay? Well, what wound up happening? Peter hit a double. So what we do is we say, okay, Peter hit a double, so now there's a guy on second. There are still two out, but the visitors went up in score. So now, when we look at the win percentage after Peter's double, we have to say, okay, well, hold on a second. Now it says 53.86, 54%, right, if we round up. Right, again, I'm looking right here. But note that it says visitor, 54%. So we can just write over here 0.54. So Peter's win probability added was 0.54 minus 0.46, which equals 0.08. Okay? The leverage index for Will now is 1.19. And Will wound up hitting a single, and in doing so, moved the runner, Peter, over to third, and then, of course, he winds up on first. In doing so, the visitors now have a 57% chance of winning. Okay? So what we say is, okay, maybe I'm not going to show my work this time, but maybe we can see that Will's win probability added was 0.03. Try to see if you can figure out why that's the case. Maybe that needs to pop a little bit more. Okay. Okay. Now, Miranda, some people were asking, what does P5 mean? P5 means popped out to the third baseman. So Miranda was in well, we wouldn't call it high, but they call it high leverage situation, right? Higher leverage situation for sure. What happened? Well, she popped out, so what that means is that we have 3 outs, and we're now in the bottom of the inning. So what's the win percentage for the visitors now? Well, now, if we go to the home team right here, we say, okay, well, looks like now the home team has a win percent, or a win expectancy, I guess you'd say, of I guess if we round that up to 52, we'd say now it's 0.48, right, for the home team, right? See how we had to kind of switch there? That might be a little confusing. And I think Fangraphs does it differently, and this website does it differently, but this is how we're going to do it, right? The team that's batting, that's the win percentage that we're going to display, okay? So the home team now has a 0.48 win expectancy. So if we go back here, Miranda's win probability added is going to be let's do this color, right? It's going to be, what was that again? 0.48 minus 0.57, which is, now let's use blue for this one, right? Which is negative 0.09, okay? Actually, Actually, sorry, let's be a little bit careful here. Sorry, let's be a little bit careful. Sorry, I messed that one up. The visitors' win percentage dropped to 52 afterwards, right? So actually, hers is going to be 0.57 minus 0.52, which is negative 0.05. Okay. Now, if you wanna go ahead and write 0.52 here, then you can, just like so that's consistent for the visitors, then you can. But I'm just gonna write 0.48 because I think it's easier to consider the person's perspective, like the perspective of the hitter. Okay. So you see, we've completed the win expectancy chart for the visitors. All right, now let's do it for the home team, and then I'll wrap it up. Okay. So now the home team is in this situation, 48% chance of winning. We know right away that the leverage index is 0.98. Now, what does Kaishan do? He hits a single. So what are we going to do? Right? We do that. Remember, we are in the bottom half of the first inning. The visitors are still up by 1. And Kaishan got a single. So what's the win probability now? What? Wait. Is that really the case? That's quite something there. Wow. It looks like the win expectancy jumped quite a bit. Looks like now the home team is favored to win. Sorry, I had to do a double take. That single was pretty important, right? So maybe we can see now that the win probability added for Kaishan was 0.05. I'll let you try to figure that one out, right? Okay, the leverage index for Mason is 1.46. Mason flew out to the right fielder, so what we're going to do is we're going to have an out. So now the visitor is more likely to win, right? 51%, so the home team is 49% likely to win. So win probability added there is negative 0.04. So a little bit of leverage going on here, right? All right. Leverage index still kind of high, right? Because another single will put some guys in scoring position, right? And Ian grounded into a fielder's choice. Now, there was a little bit of confusion about this. I didn't score it quite as well as I could have. To be clear, Ian wound up going to first base, and Kaishan was out at second. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to create another out. All right? Now the visitors have a 56% chance of winning, so I guess the home team has a 44% chance of winning. So the win probability added there is negative 0.05. Again, we can just see right away that the leverage index is 0.94. Leverage lowered a little bit, right, because it's less likely that we're going to score now. And Will sadly struck out. So when Will strikes out, what happens? There's no longer a runner on first. The score stays the same. No longer 2 outs, and we go to the top of the second. All right? Now the visitors are sitting pretty at 58% chance of winning. So let's go up here. Maybe I'll just denote that we've changed the inning. Maybe I'll use this color for that. Right. And so that means that the home team has only a 42% chance of winning. Right? So the win probability is 0.42 minus 0.44, right? Negative 0.02. All right, so we're here. All right, and you just keep doing that, okay? And keep doing that. And that's all.